FlossTube, my name is Jessie, and welcome to my channel, Bobo Jessie Stitches, primarily about cross-stitching. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are, whether you are new or returning, welcome in. Today is a FlossTube extra, though I am doing this in lieu of my regular August video. It is a WIP parade. Yay, it's my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year is autumn, but in terms of where it's so much fun in the cross-stitching community is that I really love WIP parade season because it's a great way to meet new people and find new stitchers out there, create new community. And so I hope that some of you are new and are coming in and checking me out, and hopefully you enjoy what you see. And if you don't, that's okay. No, not everyone is everyone's cup of tea. So, but since it is a WIP parade, and since some of you may have been coming in for the first time, just a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Jessie. I live in Texas, in the greater Houston area is where I hail from, and not a whole lot about me in terms of my life. I'm married. We have 2 fur children. We do not have human children. A little dog, 2 little dogs, Jordan and Peggy, and they are the little cartoon versions of them are in my introduction video, and so they are adorable, and we love them. And I work as an attorney in the legal aid space, and and that's pretty much about me in sense of my life and who I am in a nutshell. Obviously, I'm probably more complicated than that, as most people are, but you don't need to know all of that. You'll get to know me as you watch me. In terms of my cross-stitching style, I think of myself as a quirky stitcher, though I do have a couple of more traditional things. Autumn is my favorite time of year, as I said, and Halloween is my favorite holiday. So I do like a good spooky stitch, but I like a cutesy stitch as opposed to spooky. And so because I am quirky and things like that I tend to like those types of stitches. And you'll see those as we kind of go along. As we go, I will, if it is an existing WIP that I brought into the current year, I will put a picture in a side of what it looked like at the beginning of the year as of January 1st, 23. And then of course what progress I have made since then. My typical videos, for those of you who are returning, I usually talk about stitch counts and things like that. I'm not going to do that in this WIP parade. I don't know if that creates any real kind of context. You'll see the before and after as it relates to things. And then, of course, once I hit the new starts for in 23, there will be no before picture because the before picture is a blank piece of fabric. And the finishes any start and finish that I had will be at the very end of this video. But any finishes I had for projects coming into this year, I will show you as they relate in the space of time. And as it is with most WIP parades, I'm going to go with my oldest WIP to my most recent WIP, and then of course my start and finishes. And is that all the relevant information that you're supposed to know before we get started? I think so. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get going. All of my notes are down here, so if you see me looking down, forgive me. But otherwise, let's get started. Oh, the ever proverbial favorite, my oldest WIP that I've been working on for who knows how long. I started it before 2019, which is when I started tracking when I started things and things like that. Mostly because I didn't really pay attention to it, but also I was a monogamous stitcher before 2019. 2019 is when I started to bring in multiple projects into my, believe it or not, it never even occurred to me to have more than one project going at any given time. Thanks, FlossTube. That I realized, wait, I can have more than one? As most people are when they're like my age, and so I'm in my 40s. But I started stitching when I was 12, 13 years old, and the people who kind of taught me how to do it were kind of like, well, you just work on a project till you're done, and then you pick up the next one. I don't know why it never occurred to me to have more than one. I'm also a quilter, and I definitely have more than one quilt project going at any given time because it depends on my mood, right? Like sometimes I feel like I'm in a cutting stage, sometimes I want to be sewing, and so you have different projects depending on what stage it's at. Of course, I don't know, I didn't think about that for cross-stitching. But anyways, this is my oldest WIP, and it was pretty much a monogamous stitch until 2019. So I did start this beforehand, and it is the ever famous Cinderella Wishes Upon a Dream. This is a kit by MCG Textiles. The artwork is by Thomas Kinkaid. It is out of print because the company no longer exists. And because it is a kit, everything is the kit provided floss, a 2/1 on 18 count Aida. And here it is. I always have a goal to finish this every single year. If you have been watching me for a while, you know this. I've always been trying to get this done every year, and I was hoping I would be able to finish it this year if I could focus on it. I don't think that's going to happen. There's quite a bit left to do, and I don't think I have it in me to put that much monogamous focus stitching on it between now and the end of the year. But we'll see. We'll see how I go. But pretty much since the last time you saw it, I finished this top part of the chart. This is essentially 4 pages. They're big pages, but they're 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so I finished page 3, and I would like to, this might be a reasonable goal to try to do, which is maybe to finish the top half of the 4th page before the end of the year. This will become a monogamous stitch at some point in time, between now and the end of the year, maybe November, but we'll see. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to put things in a way that is not so discombobulated, so that way I can clean up easily, but we'll see. But that's my biggest one. All right. Okay. Next up is my, I'm a bit of a nerd, bit of a geek, fantasy, sci-fi, all that good stuff. You see my Totoro dress. So, but my favorite fandom is Sailor Moon. And I was in high school when that came out. But you know what? Anime is not for kids. And in fact, a lot of anime isn't for kids. Even though Sailor Moon did have a target audience that were for young ladies, I fell in love with it and have been a fan of it in these many years since. But I am working on Sailor Moon Squad. This is by Tilton Crafts, and the artwork is by Daniel Kordek. I'm stitching this 1/1 on 25 count Lugana and full cross. And here it is. All right. Pretty much after Cinderella, everything is has been started since 2019. I started this in 2020 actually, and so this was a pandemic start for me. And my goal for this project for this year is to finish Sailor Venus. And you will see that's the bottom of her right there, where you see where the curving at the bottom is happening. That's the bottom of the piece. And I always do a focus Sailor stitching in September, Sailor September. If you are a Sailor person, you have a Sailor Moon pattern, stitch it in September. Join me, hashtag Sailor September. There's some artists that have done that as well, and I'm just kind of jumping on that. But my goal is to finish Sailor Venus this year. I think that's doable. And then hopefully going forward, I can try to get at least 1 scout done a year, which puts us at a 5-year finishing rate. But you know what? It's a big bap. All right. After this, everything is, well, not everything, but these are now my 2021 starts. The next couple are my 2021 starts. And next up is Tree of Magic. Tree of Magic is by Barbara Anna Designs. This is an exclusive kit from Nitka Moscow. Comes in the tubes. And this is where I am right now. Now, this is a 2021 start, and I do have a goal to finish my 2021 starts in 2023. I try not to carry them too far over, but this is one of them. And so I think I can do that. I mean, you see, I will say, if you pick up one of these trees, I'm going to recommend you start at the bottom and go up, because like the movement goes a lot quicker. Like you get some momentum as you finish off the branches. So even though I have those big branches at the bottom, though, I still think I can probably try to get this done this year. I've been focusing on it right now for this week, and I put in quite a bit of stitches in the month of August. I mean, almost 1,500, I think, is where I am currently on that. So I think once I get going on it, like it stitches quickly because you can see, like, when you can see, like, it's big blocks of like that houses and big blocks of colors. So it actually does stitch quickly once you're kind of in the mojo. So, right. Next up is Lunar Princess by Sleeping Luna Designs. So this is a rendering. I don't have a finished picture of it. And I am stitching this 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count linen Phantom by Picture This Plus. And here it is. This actually stitched pretty quickly once you're kind of in it. The rows took a really long time. I'm kind of glad I started at the rows because how difficult it actually was. It's beautiful, well worth all the effort that it takes to stitch it, but it was difficult. But the symbols themselves are pretty easy to do. What makes this difficult as a project in general, as a whole, is it's the dark fabric. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to have some really good lighting and kind of finagle things in such a way so that way light passes through from the front and the back, so you can see where you can stitch. But otherwise, it is pretty fast. Now, this is also a 2021 start, and I did have a goal to finish this in 23. I think that's a big goal. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish that. But again, Sailor September is coming up, and I can't work on Sailor Moon Squad for the entire time, and this will be something I will focus on in September. So we'll see. We'll see how much I can pick up. Again, it stitches pretty quickly once you kind of get going because big color blocks. But my recommendation is that if you haven't picked it up and you're interested in doing it, one, maybe not a dark fabric unless you're really comfortable stitching on a dark fabric. That would probably be my recommendation. And I did do some modifications myself into the 3/4 stitching that's in the rows to make it a little bit easier for me to work on it. And I do highly recommend, because of the amount of quarter stitches that are in this project, that that if you decide you want to stitch on Lunar Princess Sal, that you use either an even weave or a linen. An Aida stitcher will be extremely unhappy stitching on this, and with the amount, there's a lot of quarter and half stitches in it. All right, next up, I don't think I've had any progress on this, but this is I Search for an Ancestor by the Laurel Witch. I don't know when people are going to be watching this, but I am recording this at the very end of July, so it'll be going up probably either on July 30th or 31st. The Laurel Witch is going to be shutting down her cross-stitch shop. And so I hope that you are able to go in and grab what you want from her. Her art speaks to me greatly. Like, I love her art, and I really wanted to stitch this, and I picked it up, but it's a big pattern, and honestly, I just haven't really worked on it. I think that the only progress I've had is to finish up getting to the edge of the border on this end. But this is where I am. I'm just gonna let that fall there. This is where I am. Am I playing fabric chicken with this? Yes, because again, this is a large pattern, and so I'm probably going to be going down all the way to the bottom there. Oh, I forgot to mention. This is 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count Lugana, haunted by Seraphin hand-dyed fabrics. So again, I think this is a beautiful piece of artwork. I really can't wait to get working on it. It was a 2021 start. It will not get finished this year, clearly. But I did want to read the poem, to the little lyric, the language that's here, because it is hard to read. And it says, I search for an ancestor who would have been considered a suffragette, harlot, witches, mystic, and queens. And I don't know why, but that just really, um, it sticks with me. I think that I, you know, I am a woman, I'm a she, her, and I, I know for a fact from just the immediacy of my grandmother and my great grandmothers that I come from a long line of amazing women, and I think that women get lost in our history. I do a lot of genealogy research for my family, and it's hard. It's hard to find women um, in there, and so for me, because I do my genealogy, and I know in my heart that there are strong women and amazing women who did extraordinary things, that when I'm searching for an ancestor, that's who I'm searching for. So for me, it's very personal. I'm very sad to see Laura shutter her shop down, because I think that her artwork is beautiful, and I think it'd be amazing as cross stitches. But she's moving on, as her heart takes her in a different path for her artwork, and that's okay. Sip break. It's very hot here in Texas right now. We're over 100 degrees on many, many days, and a cool front coming in just knocked us down to like 96 degrees, which is not, it's not actually cool. Drink lots of water. All right. Okay. Next up is, sorry, I've lost my place. Here I am. So we are now working on Lady Justice. This is my Mirabilia. Artwork by Nora Corbett, or Nora Corbett for Mirabilia. As I said, I am a lawyer and I work in legal aid, and so I do try to keep what I call a justice piece in progress at any given time. This is the biggest one that I'm doing, and well, actually, that's not true. I did Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. That was pretty giant, and I consider that a justice piece. So, anyways, but this is my current justice piece that I am working on, and I am doing this 2/2 with the Call for DMC on 32 count Lugana Coda Doves by Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and this is where I am currently. Just continuing down her scarf. I don't know if I really worked on this very much this year. You'll see in the before picture that's hanging out somewhere. I think I've just added a little bit to the scarf. I'd like to go ahead and kind of get working on that. And and by the way, we are now starting in our 2022 starts here. Actually, I searched for an ancestor, was I think a 22 start, not a 21 start. So we are now officially at it'd be nice to get progress, but not trying to finish necessarily, unless I just happen to get finish fever for that project. All right. Okay. Next up is Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Halloween Wreath. This is a year-long sal. The most recent clue came out, so this was clue 10, I guess. There's only 2 more months to come out, but the last clue is the last month, and then they give you a finishing clue on how to instructions on how to finish it. But this is where we are. Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is one of my favorite designers. I went through a stitching, you lose your stitchy bugs every once in a while, and then a friend of mine got me a kit from Frosted Pumpkin, and that's really what got me back in. I started stitching a lot of Frosted Pumpkins, and then I was like, this is it, and then I started expanding from that. But anyways, as I said, Halloween, cutesy, Frosted Pumpkin, seems like a perfect match. So I am working on 2/2 with the Call for DMC on 32 count Lugana, and this is Silver Moon by Yummy Fiberlicious Fabrics. And here we are. I think I stayed pretty much on target, so the before picture should probably be where the sal was at the beginning of the year, but I'm a little bit behind. Obviously, you can see that I am at least one full clue behind and a partial clue behind, but I'm going to catch up. I'll get this done before officially the end of the sal, I'm pretty sure. If nothing else, all my Halloween pieces become focuses in October, so there we are. All right, 2 finishes from WIPs that I brought into this year. I realized I never actually gave you all an overview at the beginning, but I brought in 11 WIPs. So, but 2 of those WIPs have been finished, and I'm going to go ahead and show them to you as I go. And the first up was In Spring by Bendy Stitchy. And this was a kit from Fangirl Fibers, and everything was called for. So it was silk, Fangirl Fibers silk on 32 count linen, Underworld by also Fangirl Fibers. And here's the finish. You know, it's always hard to figure out how to light your videos to make sure that everything comes out okay. But Hades in that off-white kind of color really does pop in person. It's a little bit harder to see the popping on the screen, but here it is. And so, and of course, it says, in winter I plot and plan, in spring I move, and this is a homage to Persephone and Hades, and that myth. But this is a recent finish, so yay! All right, next up is another finish, and this was a Spooky Stroll by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I stitched this 2/2 with my conversion of Forbidden Fiber Co. floss on 32 count Rainy Day by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. If anyone is ever interested in my conversions, I don't do very many of them, but if you are interested, by all means, please let me know. You can drop me a direct message into my Instagram, and I'll send it to you. It's not a problem at all. But this all came out of most of it was from a Halloween box from Forbidden Fiber Co. Super cute. This guy's super cute. Cutesy Halloween. Of course, I love it. All right. Okay, 2 more that I brought into 2023. Next up, Baba Yaga by Autumn Lane Stitchery. Oh, man. When I got this pattern, it was in a box. I loved it. I was squeal with joy, and then I didn't start it for like 8 months. But here we are for Baba Yaga. And I am stitching this 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count linen, Catacombs by Bee Stitch Me. And here it is. And this is how I've gotten so far in this year. I did pick this up a little bit more frequently recently. And so as I work on it, I'm like, I do really want to work on this. So again, when Halloween rolls around, I consider this to be a spooky stitch, and it will get a lot of attention at that point in time. Okay. The last of my brought into 2023 projects, and that is Here Be Dragons by Modern Folk Embroidery. Again, I don't do a lot of traditional stitching, and a lot of Jacob's patterns are pretty traditional, but I saw these dark crosses, I think is what he calls it. Yeah, dark crosses, and I love it. I studied history, I studied medieval and Renaissance, particularly in Tudor England, but anything that's kind of got this age thing, if it has a darkness to it, I love it. And so I just had to get it, and so I purchased, so I am doing this 2/2 with Plum Shadow by Roxy Floss Co. on 32 count Lugana Papyrus by Color and Cotton. And this is where I've gotten to. Not a whole lot of progress this year. I don't work on it very frequently, but I do love it. Like the way that the art pulls out in the negative space is just really quite lovely. And I hope to get more progress in this soon. Okay, that's it. That's my 11 WIPs that I brought into 2023, of which I had 2 finishes. And now I have my new starts, and I have a current WIP, so I have 6 current WIPs in terms of new starts. Okay. But in total, I started 12 projects, I should say that. So I started 12 projects in 2023. I finished 6 of them, and 6 of them are still in progress. And so first up is Hello Sunshine by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I've actually stitched all 3 of the other seasons. I have done Hello Petal, Hello Pumpkin, and Hello Deer. And this is the last of my seasonal stitching as it relates to the trees. And I really want to get it done this year. And so that way I can start thinking about how I'm going to fully finish them. I'm a completionist, as you would think. 2 over 2 with the called for DMC on 28 count even weave. And this is everything I've gotten done this year. Obviously, it was a new start. So I expect to finish this in the next couple of months, honestly. I'm going to pull it out when I can and get it done. I think one of the things I might consider doing, there's a giant like butterfly here, but I think that maybe a way to kind of move it forward is to kind of make a goal to stitch a motif a day or something like that, and that will help me kind of get it done. But yeah, that's where we are in that. So this will probably be another 2023 finish. Well, all being well. Next up is, needless to say, right? There's no longer going to be before pictures. Everything was a new start. Next up is Greenhouse of Oddity Sal by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. This is the most recent clue that came out. I think it's planting number 8 is the number that we are at. And I wish I could tell you that this Sal has gotten all the attention that it deserves. It has not. But I am doing this 2 over 2 with the called for DMC on 32 count Lugana, Aloe from the Other Size by Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. And this is where I am. I am so far behind. It is a Sal that if you can keep up, you would finish on. It would be a finish this year. Yeah, no, definitely not gonna catch up. I do consider this dark stitching though, because of the theme of the design. So it will go into focus stitching in Halloween time in October, and I don't know what focus stitching is going to look like then, but there's going to be something. But they're really good designs. I also have Haunted Library from Lola Crow, but I actually haven't even started that one. So that's going to be, once I finish Greenhouse, chances are I'm going to end up feeling the need to start Haunted Library because I'm a completionist. And although she hasn't said it, I think of it as being part of the same universe. Like this is the greenhouse or the house with the library that's haunted. So I in my mind, there's some kind of big giant like spooky mansion on the grounds, and we stitched the library, and now we're stitching the greenhouse. Canon. All right. Okay. My next start is Greenwashing by Sprouting Lupin. So this was part of the Stitchers Collective's Earth Day bundle in 2023. And I ended up supporting a nonprofit called Oceana, which is helping clean and preserve the ocean, which is really important. Planet's important. We should be doing everything we can to make it healthy and preserve it for not just us, but all our inhabitants. But this is greenwashing. And greenwashing is a terminology that's kind of used to speak about, I'm going to be really bad at describing it, but the, how corporations and governments kind of put like a spin on things, implying that it's, that they're being environmental and sustainable, but they're really not. But look at this beautiful pattern. It's all these beautiful shades of green. But I am doing this 2 over 2 with the call for Lugana with 1 conversion. She had called for Forbidden Fiber Codes Olive. I ended up converting that to 935. But this is where I have gotten to so far. Oh, and it's Willow by Color and Cotton. You can't really see it in the screen, but the willow has a bit of a green undertone in the fabric, so it actually looks really great. I gotta figure out how to do some lighting. You know, sometimes the lighting works really great and sometimes it doesn't. If I was a true professional, I'd switch out the lighting for the different types of fabrics and stuff, because I really think that's what it is that it's not one size fits all for whatever you got going, and you gotta kind of do that kind of stuff. All right. Next up, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Of course, there's another Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Again, remember, I study history. I have a great love for medieval and Renaissance history, particularly Tudor England. And so Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery and a castle, yes please. So Castle Homecoming is next up, and this is a year-long sal that just started. So part 3 just came out. Look at that. How can you not want to stitch that dragon? I feel like I'm going to stitch that dragon for just an ornament somewhere. So, but this is where we are. And I am doing this 2/2 with the called for DMC with a couple of exceptions on Sandcastle by Color and Cotton. And this is where I've gotten to so far. Obviously, I'm very behind. I'm not even done with part 1 yet. But as you can see, I am doing some conversions of skin conversions. So I decided to make the Heralder the hair and skin tone of the Knight-esque. And the Knight-esque I am converting to look like me, so my hair and skin tone. And then I'm probably going to make the Knight look like my husband. Just being real. And I'm probably going to do a couple of other conversions for any other people that kind of come in. I would really like a diverse cast here. So, but I'm going to be the hero of my own story. What do the kids say nowadays? Main character energy? I don't know. I'm definitely like supporting character energy, but you know, in my cross stitch of Castle Homecoming, I'm gonna have main character energy. All right. Next up are I don't know if they're even considered starts. There's so little stitching on the brand new starts. Just did them in the past month or two. And so first up is Tonight We Ride by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And this was actually in the Mystery Halloween box from Cassandra last year. I just didn't start it until now. Because, you know, why do things in a normal pace of time like most normal people? Nope, not me. So, but yes, I just recently started, literally like 200 stitches into it. Here it is. I'm doing this 2/2 with the called for DMC and 32 count linen. Pumpkin Patch by Bee Stitch Me. That's it. Again, barely a start, but I think officially 200 stitches into it, so it counts. All right, and then my last start of 2023 that is a current WIP. It just started it this week, in fact, and there's not even 200 stitches in it, so I don't think it officially counts as a start. But this is Dr. Georgina Windham by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is part of a steampunk sheep line that Forbidden Fiber Co. did over this past year. I have all of them but one, and I just ordered it. The entire line is now available on Forbidden Fiber Co.'s site. So if you are interested in just the patterns, they are now available. But I just started this. Now on a personal, maybe TMI side note, I was like, I'm done trying to figure out why I can't ever breathe in this state. And so I finally got some allergy testing done, and I found out that I'm very allergic to many things in this state. Nothing just seasonal. It's like year-round, all season, something bothers me. So I'm going to start getting some allergy shots and try to make my life a little bit more comfortable. And I thought, wouldn't this be fun to take as my travel stitching when I'm sitting around in the doctor's office? Because when you get an allergy shot, you have to wait about 20 to 30 minutes afterwards, make sure you don't have an allergic reaction. And so, well, you're just sitting around, right? And 30 minutes, you can get quite a bit of stitching done. And so I was like, this would be the perfect stitch to do. So I did go to a doctor's appointment this week, and I put in this tiny amount of stitching in. And I'll be doing this 2/2 with the called for Forbidden Fiber Co. floss and 32 count linen. Love Potion also by Forbidden Fiber Co. So it counts. I did start it. Stitches are in there. So, all right. That's it. That's all of my actual WIPs. At this point in time, everything is a finish. And, you know, I don't for 2 of these finishes, unfortunately, I do not have, 3. Yeah, no, 2. I cannot, 3. I cannot show you tangentially, right? I'm going to have to pop in a picture on it. But first up was a New Year's Day start, which was Lord Theodore Witherbottom. He was the first in the sheep line, in the steampunk sheep. And again, everything is available. And so here's my finish. So this is Lord Theodore Witherbottom, again by Forbidden Fiber Co. It's a kit, so 2/2 with the called for Forbidden Fiber floss on 32 count linen frozen, also by Forbidden Fiber Co. This was truly my travel stitching. It was perfect. Once you get the outline in there and you get the face in there, it was just, anytime I traveled somewhere, all I did was carry around that magnolia color, which is the color of his body, and I just didn't even need to have anything with me. I was just stitch and stitch. It was perfect travel stitching. So really, truly, if y'all, one, they're cute. They're cute. There's a cute little story that goes with them. But if you're looking for easy travel pieces that you can just take with you and not even have to worry about counting and things like that, the sheep really are good, and that was one of the reasons why I picked it up. Anyways, my next finish for the year was Shimonju Rabbit by Tossier Stitches, my friend Laura. Hi Laura, I hope you're watching. And I did this 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count Lugana Hidden Treasure by Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. Look at that beautiful, beautiful rabbit. There's a lot of cultural themes in this design. I'm going to tell you that I think you should go and watch Laura, her channel, Tossier Stitches, and because one, she's my friend, she's amazing, but also like the amount of labor that she does to kind of share what she knows about her culture and how and her perspective on it is, I learn a lot from her. You know, she is much younger than me, but I feel like she is a mentor to me in this space. And so it was a real honor to be able to stitch her rabbit and to share it with you today. So I hope that you will consider it. I am not going to go into too much about the themes because I don't think I can do it justice, but just some things to kind of keep in mind when you are looking at it, which is that this is... it's not just Okinawa, it's all of the islands around Japan. It is not really technically Japanese. So just kind of keep that, it's not Japanese actually. Okinawa was a territory that was seized by Japan. But it's the, but just be aware that just because something is currently part of a country, that it's not necessarily that country's culture. I hope that made sense. But go watch Laura when she talks about her design. It really is, or even better yet, buy it. She does a lot of instructions, and not instructions, a lot of explanations of all of the themes. So, all right. Next up is Eagle. That's what I'm just calling it. It's Eagle by Little Stitch Girl. It's in a booklet of Americana designs, and I made this because, did I mention this? I may not have mentioned this, but I do a lot of genealogy, and in the course of doing my genealogy, I discovered I come from a long line of people who've been in America, ultimately colonizers. And so, but I am a descendant of a patriot. I'm a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and we are doing a collaboration to stitch ornaments for the Fisher House for veterans and their families as they face critical illnesses. And so I made this eagle. I did this 1/2 with the DMC conversion. They're called for DMC conversion on 40 count linen, weathered stone by Atomic Ranch Fabrics. And so I'm going to finish this into an ornament, hopefully pretty decently. I'm going to try to make one more for them. The deadline for me to get to them is in September, and I think I can make one more. So, all right. So now I'm going to stick in some pictures of some other things that I finished that I don't have to show you. The first one was a small that I stitched for the retreat that I attended in Dallas. So just stitching over Texas, and that was Stitchers Are Gonna Stitch by the Blue Flower. Hopefully there's a big picture in front of my face right now. 2/2 with my conversion on Forbidden Fiber Co. of Forbidden Fiber Co. fabric, like floss. Wow, on 32 count linen ice blue by Zweigart, and that was my gift to them. And then now I am going to show you Arctic Friends by Flossie Fox Shop. That's also from the Earth Day collection from the Stitchers Collectors. I did that 2/2 with the called for DMC on 32 count Lugana, A Very Perry Winter by Yummy Fiberlicious Fibers. And that was my smalls exchange for StitchCon Weekend B. So you'll see those pictures in there. You're like, wait, if you've been counting, you might not have been. But if you have been counting, there's one finish short. I have one secret finish for another smalls exchange that I am participating in. It is getting mailed, and the person hasn't received it yet, so I can't show you that picture, just in case she happens to watch this. And so I will be recording a current Jessie for future Jessie to share in my next video of that finish. And so I hope that you'll come back when I post my next video, which is typically on a monthly basis. And so, but otherwise, that's it, everybody. It's around 40 minutes or so, so I don't think it's too bad. I may have talked too quickly, but that's my WIP parade. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you saw something that you like. Maybe I enabled you to go do something. But let me know. Let me know if are you stitching any of the things that I'm stitching? Would you enjoy? Do you have a floss tube? Do you have a WIP parade and you're watching me? Let me know. I'm always up for finding new friends. So let me know. I'll come and check it out and go from there. But otherwise, until then, if you are new, I'll just let you know. Again, I film usually on a monthly basis. At the very beginning of the month, I do a monthly video. And otherwise, I will see you next time, hopefully. In the meantime, have a stitching good time. Take care. Bye-bye.